The power just went out in your building, your phone is at 3%, and somewhere in a drawer you think you have a flashlight, except you have no idea if the batteries still work. And that single moment of not knowing is the exact moment most people discover they were never actually prepared for anything. Stay with me for the next few minutes because I am going to hand you the only 7 things you actually need in the exact order you need them, and the 7th one is the item almost nobody thinks about until it is too late. The one that quietly separates the households who stay calm from the ones who spiral into panic when the lights go out. Let's be honest about something first. The survival space online is full of noise. 50-item checklists, tactical gear nobody in a city apartment will ever use, and channels trying to convince you that you need a bunker mentality just to get through a bad storm. That is not what this is. You do not need 50 gadgets crammed into a closet you can barely open. You need 7 categories covered, chosen correctly, and once they are covered, you are genuinely ready for almost anything that hits an ordinary home. And these situations are not rare anymore. Blackouts used to mean a few hours of inconvenience. Today, aging power grids combined with more extreme weather mean outages that stretch from 24 hours to 2 full weeks in some regions. And that is not an exaggeration. That is documented reality in multiple recent storm events. Add to that temporary water shutoffs after main breaks, winter storms that trap entire neighborhoods indoors for days, heat waves that turn small apartments into ovens, breakdowns on empty stretches of highway, and communication blackouts when cell towers overload or go down completely. None of these are apocalyptic scenarios. These are the ordinary emergencies that hit regular families, especially in apartments, where storage is tight, where you cannot run a generator, where you cannot keep a wood stove, and where most generic survival advice simply does not apply. So today, we build a list that actually works in those real, cramped, real-world conditions. Let's start with item number 1, and this is the single biggest upgrade most people are missing. A portable power station with solar charging capability. Forget the old flashlight and loose batteries approach. A proper power station keeps your phone charged for information and contact with family. It can run a small fan during a heat wave. It can power a mini fridge for insulin or other temperature-sensitive medication during a multi-day blackout. And in an apartment, it becomes your entire power grid replacement, quietly recharging through a window with a compact solar panel while you go about your day. This one item alone changes the entire experience of a blackout from helpless to manageable. Item number 2 is a water filtration and storage system. Here is what most people get wrong when water gets shut off, even temporarily. They panic buy bottled water, the shelves empty out within hours, and within 2 days, they are out of options. A gravity-fed filtration system paired with collapsible storage containers lets you treat questionable tap water or even collected rainwater and keep drinking safely for as long as the disruption lasts, all while taking up less space than a small toolbox under your sink. Item number 3 is a battery-powered or hand-crank emergency radio with built-in weather alerts. When communication networks fail during a major storm, and they often do, this is how you find out whether conditions are getting worse, whether a boil water notice has been issued, or whether evacuation is being recommended in your area. Cell towers can go down. This device typically does not, and it costs less than a dinner out. Item number 4 is proper thermal regulation gear, and this is one people almost universally overlook. For winter storms, that means a high-quality emergency sleeping bag or thermal blanket rated for real cold, not the thin foil ones that barely help. For heat waves, that means a personal cooling towel or a compact battery-powered fan setup. Apartment residents in particular ignore climate control during outages, and it is consistently one of the leading causes of emergency room visits during both extreme cold snaps and heat domes. This single category, more than almost any other on this list, can be the difference between simple discomfort and a genuine medical emergency for someone vulnerable in your home. Item number 5 is a compact road emergency kit, because breakdowns never wait for a convenient moment. Jumper cables, a portable tire inflator, reflective warning triangles, and a basic first aid kit turn a roadside disaster into a manageable delay instead of a frightening night stranded alone on the shoulder of a highway with no help in sight. Now, before we get to the final 2 items, I want to pause here for a second, because if you are watching this and already thinking about which of these 5 to grab first, I have done that research for you. I have linked the exact models I personally trust and recommend in the very first comment pinned right below this video. I tested these for actual reliability under real conditions, not just for the lowest price tag. So before you spend money on anything today, check that pinned comment first, because it will save you hours of scrolling through reviews that do not tell you the truth. Item number 6 is a 2-week shelf-stable food supply, and I want to be clear. This does not mean stockpiling like you are preparing for the end of the world. It means keeping freeze-dried meals, canned proteins, and high-calorie bars on hand, rotated every few months so nothing expires quietly in the back of a cabinet. If a blackout stretches into its 2nd week, this means you are never dependent on spoiled refrigerated food or a desperate trip to a grocery store that has already been picked clean by everyone else in your neighborhood who was not prepared. And now, item number 7, the one almost everyone forgets, and honestly, the one I think matters most. A physical, offline communication plan. Not a gadget, a plan. Write down emergency contacts on paper, because when your phone dies and your power station is being used for something more urgent, like keeping medication cold, you still need a reliable way to reach the people you care about. Pair this with a simple whistle or a signal mirror for roadside emergencies or situations where you need to be found, and a small notebook listing your building's water shutoff valve, your breaker panel location, and the nearest emergency services. This costs almost nothing to put together, and yet it is consistently the factor that separates a household that stays calm and organized from one that descends into chaos the moment technology fails. So here's the real takeaway from everything we just covered. Preparedness is not about fear, and it is not about hoarding 50 random products because an algorithm told you to buy them. It is about building one short intentional system: power, water, information, temperature control, road safety, food, and a communication plan, so that no matter what hits your building or your street, you already know exactly what to reach for, without hesitation, without panic. Apartments, small homes, families with kids, none of that changes the fact that these 7 categories are what actually matter. That is the entire game. And now you know it. So here is what I want from you before you go. Drop a comment right now telling me which of these 7 you already have covered and which one you are missing, because I genuinely read every comment and it directly shapes what I cover in future videos on this channel. If this video gave you real, practical value, hit that like button so more people trying to actually prepare their homes can find it too. And if you want a weekly breakdown of exactly which products work in real emergencies, tested honestly and never based on paid hype, subscribe right now. I will see you in the next one, and until then, stay ready.